Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm Victoria Mull. I am a medical coder and auditor of 13 years, an AAPC medical coding instructor, and I have several published articles. I am a national speaker and just a general content creator for medical coding. Today I want to talk a little bit about the table of drugs and chemicals. Now, depending on what edition of the ICD-10-CM book you have, it could be located at the front or the back, but it will be located somewhere within your book. When you sit for your CPC exam or any AAPC credential, they require you to use the AMA edition of the CPT book, but you can use any edition of the ICD-10 book you want. So that's why there's a lot of different coders that use different varieties of ICD-10 books, and there are pros and cons of basically every publisher out there. The table of drugs and chemicals is a listing of all different types of chemicals or substances that patients could potentially have a poisoning or an adverse reaction like a rash to. One of the first things you need to know when you're looking at the table of drugs and chemicals is the naming convention. So for example, if you're looking for Aleve, it will tell you to see naproxen because that's the generic name for it. You're supposed to look under the generic name as opposed to the brand name. So for example, if you look under Tylenol, it actually won't tell you anything. You need to know that you're supposed to look under acetaminophen. But oddly enough, Clorox is listed under Clorox. But so some of them do have the brand names, a couple of them, but most of them do just go under those generic names. So the table is broken down by substances and then also the cause. So first we have in the first column is our accidental poisoning. So that's like if your child accidentally went under your cleaning supplies and drank the Windex, or if you put eye drops into your mouth instead of in your eye and you were poisoned by the eye drops. So those would be the unintentional poisonings versus the intentional ones, which are caused by self-harm. So if a patient takes a handful of their prescription medication, or they plug the tailpipe of their car and they have that carbon monoxide poisoning, those would be intentional self-harm. The next would be poisoning by assault. So this would be if someone was forced to drink antifreeze or forced to take medication or forced to put a certain type of substance within their body or on their body, either topically or orally or what have you. And then we have poisoning undetermined, which means maybe the documentation wasn't clear whether the patient purposely did it or whether it was an accident. After that, we have our adverse effects. So those can be things like if a patient is dyeing their hair and they forget to do the skin test first, and they just go ahead and dye their hair and their scalp starts burning or having a rash, that would be an adverse effect because it was just a strange reaction that they personally had to that. Or if the patient was prescribed a certain medication, but it gave them all kinds of gastrointestinal bloating and discomfort, that would be an adverse effect. They were prescribed it, they took it correctly, but personally just had a reaction to it. So our last column is underdosing, which could be intentional or unintentional. We see this a lot in our elderly population because oftentimes they have trouble affording their medications. So they just go ahead and break their pills in half and take half of a pill each day instead of a full pill. What's really key though here is even though we're reporting the underdosing, we have to remember that we're trying to report out the whole picture, the whole story of what's going on with this patient. So if this is an elderly patient that is unable to afford their medication, there is an ICD-10 code for not having the correct finances to support paying for your medications. So in addition to that adverse effect code, you would also want to report ICD-10-Z91.120, which is for underdosing due to financial strain. So let's take a look at an example. Right now there's a lot of buzz around hydroxychloroquine and taking that medication, and there have been some reports of patients that because they heard from various sources that this could potentially treat you for COVID very well, patients are somehow getting a hold of it and taking the medication and having adverse effects. Things like heart palpitations and all kinds of heart problems. So in that case, we would go to our table of drugs and chemicals, look through our substance list, find hydroxychloroquine, and we would go down to our adverse effects column, and we would follow that through. So that would bring us to our T37.8X5. It says here T37.8X5 adverse effect of other specified systemic anti-infectives and antiparasitics. And it tells us to pick that seventh character. So our seventh character is A for initial, D for subsequent, and S for sequela. So just like all of our other ICD-10 codes, even though we found it in the table, we verify in the tabular and then make sure we have all of our appropriate character extensions. So that's my video for today. It was a short one, but I hope you found this helpful. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, just keep on coding on.